And he said, you know what? Surah Hud and its sister surahs turned my hair gray. They looked at each other, they looked at him. Now, the sisters that he was talking about, the other surahs, he once talked to them about, like Surah Al-Inshiqaq, Surah Al-Infitar, Surah Al-Takwir, all the surahs in the last juz' of the Quran that describe the events of the Day of Judgment. إذا الشمس كورت وإذا النجوم انكدرت إذا السماء انفطرت وإذا الكواكب انتثرت إذا السماء انشقت. All of those descriptions about what's going to happen, they felt why these surahs would make the heart tremble and will turn the hair gray. But now when he said Surah Hud and its sister surahs turned my hair gray, they did not see anything in Surah Hud that would really fit that description. So they looked at him as if to say, what is it, Ya Rasulullah? What's in Surah Hud? And we were just actually listening to the recitation from Surah Hud, and apparently he told them a one-liner that we heard in the last rak'ah that we heard from Dr. Wa'il. And that one-liner, when Rasulullah ﷺ explained it and explained how heavy it is, they understood. And that is, after أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, فاستقم كما أمرت ومن تاب معك ولا تطغوا إنه بما تعملون بصير. صدق الله العظيم. Let's look at it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, be straightforward and steadfast. Don't live your life in a wobbly fashion. Live your life in a steady, straightforward fashion. You, Muhammad, and those who repented towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with you. And do not trespass or transgress your limits. You have limits, make sure you move within those limits. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all-seeing of everything you do. إِنَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ. Now, al-istiqamah, to live our lives in a straightforward, steady, honest fashion is what Islam is all about. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instituted the recitation of the Fatiha in our salat, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, لا صلاة لمن لم يقرأ بفاتحة الكتاب. Salat will not be accepted if you do not recite the Fatiha. What's in the Fatiha? I spoke about that early on in Salat al-Taraweeh, how to achieve khushu' in our salat. And we know that Salat, the Qira'at Surah al-Fatiha is about اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Oh Allah, guide us to the straight path. Be straightforward. Be honest. Be steadfast. This is how we should live our lives. And that's why at least 17 times every day we say, Ya Allah, guide us on the straight path. Ya Allah, guide us on the straight. Without the straight path, we will not arrive at Jannah. And the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight path. If we want to get to Jannah in the shortest possible manner, we have to follow as-sirat al-mustaqim. Now once a young man came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and found himself face to face with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and no one else around them. Imagine if you have that opportunity. You just see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's absolutely nobody. So that young man, whose name was Sufyan ibn Ubaidillah al-Thaqafi, he was from Ta'if. So he came to him and said, Ya Rasulullah, قل لي في الإسلام شيئا لا أسأل عنه أحدا غيرك. He said, tell me something about Islam which I would not need to ask anyone after you to explain it for me. Just I want to hear it from you and understand it. So tell me, Ya Rasulullah. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to him 4 words. He said, قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ ثُمَّ اسْتَقِمْ. Declare your faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and live your life in a steady, straightforward fashion. Don't pray, then go and hurt others. Don't fast and then go and backbite people. Don't give zakat and then show off. Don't go for umrah only to come back and people will say ya haji or hajj or whatever. Don't do any of that if this is not going to make your life in a straightforward, steady fashion that people will benefit from, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will appreciate from you. This is what, Sufyan ibn Ubaidillah heard from the mouth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and lived his life. He was a very young man, 15, 16 years old. For such a young person to understand the importance of living life in a steady, straightforward fashion is what Islam is all about. So I hope, inshallah, that we translate our fasting and our salat. I don't want to make it heavy on all of us, but wallahi, when I see that we are losing opportunities, please forgive me if I share some pieces of advice. When we are sitting here and doing dhikr and tasbih, and we hear, friends and people talking, and most probably they are talking about worldly things because they haven't seen each other and they want to talk. But my advice to you, please use every second of the month of Ramadan because Ramadan is moving so fast. The 12th night of Ramadan is upon us. 12 nights. Tomorrow is the 12th day of fasting. So please use this time to do dhikr, to do tasbih. Recall the surahs that you want to fix in your heart and memorize. Try to live with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you can see your friends all the time anywhere else. But this place is the house of Allah. Jazakumullah khair.